Welcome back to AFT Dice Season 3. It is round 12. Let's go to the first game. It is Western Bulldogs versus Gold Coast at MRVL Stadium. Let's go to the first quarter. First quarter, nearly done. That's done. Western Bulldogs have kicked 3 goals, 2 to Gold Coast, 3-3. So it's 1 point the difference at quarter time. Let's go to the second quarter. Gold Coast second last on the ladder. Western Bulldogs fourth last. All right, in the second quarter, Western Bulldogs kicked 6 goals, 1 to Gold Coast, 4-1. And at half time, Western Bulldogs are leading by 11 points. Let's go to the third quarter. North Melbourne on top. And the third quarter's done. Very even. Western Bulldogs won that quarter by a point. They kicked 5-5 to Gold Coast 5-4. And at three-quarter time, Western Bulldogs are in front by 12 points. Let's go to the last quarter. In the last quarter, Western Bulldogs kicked 5 goals, 6 to Gold Coast, 5 goals, 5. And in the end, Western Bulldogs held off the mighty Gold Coast Suns by 13 points. The final scores, Western Bulldogs 19-14, 128 to Gold Coast 17-13, 115. All right, let's go to the second game. It's Fremantle versus Essendon at Optus Stadium. The first quarter's done. Fremantle have kicked 6 goals, 1 to Essendon, 5 goals, 4. Freo in front by 3 points. Let's go to this second quarter. In the second quarter, Freo have kicked 5 goals, 5 to Essendon, 2-1. And at half time, Fremantle are in front by 25 points. So let's go to the third quarter of this game. Essendon are on the bottom. Freo in 13th spot. Freo have kicked 4 goals, 5 to Essendon, 2-3. And at three-quarter time, Essendon are trailing by 39 points. All right, let's go to the last quarter, see how much Freo win this game by. And Freo have kicked 4 goals, 3 to 2 for Essendon. And in the end, Fremantle have won this game by 50 points. Freo, final score 19-14, 128 to Essendon, final score 11-12, 78. All right, let's go to the third game. It's Richmond versus Sydney Swans. Let's go to the first quarter. Very even. Richmond kicked 6 goals, 2 to Sydney, 6 goals, 3. Sydney are in front by 1 point. All right, let's go to this second quarter. Sydney are second on the ladder. Richmond are 13th. All right, second quarter's done. Richmond have kicked 4 goals, 2 to Sydney, 5 goals, 3. And at halftime, Sydney are leading by 8 points. Let's go to the third quarter. The third quarter's done. Richmond have kicked 3 goals, 5 to Sydney, 3 goals, 2. And at three-quarter time, Richmond are just down by 5 points against the Sydney Swans, who are second on the ladder. Let's go to the last quarter, see if Richmond can get over the top of the Sydney Swans. And I think they have. Richmond have kicked 5 goals, 5 to Sydney, 3 goals, 6. And in the end, Richmond got over the top of the Sydney Swans by 6 points. Richmond final score 18-14, 122 to Sydney 17-14, 116. All right, let's go to the next game. It's GWS Giants versus Melbourne at Giant Stadium. First quarter's been done. Giants have kicked 4 goals, 4 to Melbourne, 6-1. Let's go to the second quarter. And the second quarter's done. Giants have kicked 4 goals, 4 to Melbourne, 6 goals, 5. And at half time, Melbourne are leading by 22 points. Let's go to the third quarter. Giants have kicked 5 goals, 1 to Melbourne, 2-2. And at 3/4 time, it is a mirror image from the last game, Richmond and Sydney. GWS a 13-9-87 to Melbourne 14-8-92. See if GWS get over the top of Melbourne in this last quarter. And I think they have by a point. GWS kicked 3-1 to Melbourne 2-1. And in the end, GWS have won by 1 point. Final scores, GWS 16-10-106 to Melbourne 16-9-105. All right, let's go to the next game. It's Geelong versus West Coast Eagles. And the first quarter's done. Geelong have kicked 1-5 to West Coast 5-2. All right, let's go to the second quarter of this game. West Coast to 7th. Geelong are 12th at the moment. Geelong kicking 2-3 to West Coast, 6-3 in that second quarter. And Geelong are down by 45 points at their home ground. All right, let's go to the third quarter. The third quarter's done. Geelong have kicked 6-4 to West Coast, 3-6. And at 3/4 time, Geelong are down by 29 points. Geelong 9-12-66 to West Coast 14-11-95. Let's go to the last quarter. And Geelong have kicked 6-3 to West Coast, 2-6. But it wasn't enough to get Geelong over the line. Geelong losing by 8 points against West Coast. Geelong kicking 15 goals, 15-105. And West Coast 16-17-113. But in the second half of this game, Geelong have kicked 12 goals to West Coast 5 goals. So Geelong just tried to get back into the game and win the game, but just couldn't get over the line. All right, let's go to the next game. It's Brisbane versus Carlton at the Gabba. And the first quarter's done. Brisbane have kicked 2-3 to Carlton, 1-6. All right, Brisbane are 10th. Carlton are 13th at the moment. All right, Brisbane kicking 1-3 to Carlton, 1-2 in that second quarter. And at halftime, very low scoring. Brisbane have kicked their 4 points up, but they've kicked 3-6-24 to Carlton, 2-8-20. All right, let's go to the third quarter. In the third quarter, Brisbane have kicked 3-2 to Carlton, 2-5. And at 3/4 time, Brisbane are up by 7 points. Let's go to the last quarter to see who wins this game. And in the end, Brisbane have won this game by 5 points. They've kicked 2-4 to Carlton, 2-6. And in a low scoring match, Brisbane final score 8-12-60 to Carlton, 6-19-55. Pretty much kicked themselves out of it. All right, let's go to the next game. It's Adelaide versus Hawthorn at Adelaide Oval. Let's go to the first quarter. Adelaide have kicked 1-5 to Hawthorn, 1-1. Let's go to the second quarter. Second quarter's done. Adelaide have kicked 3-4 to Hawthorn, 2-1, and Adelaide are in front by 13 points at half time. Let's go to the third quarter of this match. And Adelaide have kicked 4-2 to Hawthorn, 5-5 after half time. And Adelaide are in front by 4 points at 3/4 time. Let's go to the last quarter, see who wins. And Adelaide have kicked 6-4 in the last quarter to Hawthorn, 2-5. And in the end, Adelaide Crows have won by 27 points. Adelaide final score 14-15-99 to Hawthorn, 10-12-72. All right, let's go to the second last game of the round. It's St Kilda versus Port Adelaide at MRVL Stadium. St Kilda have kicked 3-1 to Port Adelaide, 1-3. in the first quarter. Let's go to the second quarter. Second quarter's done. St Kilda have kicked 4 goals, 1 to Port Adelaide, 3 goals, 1. And at half time, St Kilda are leading by 16 points. Let's go to the third quarter. The third quarter's done. St Kilda have kicked 6 goals, 2 to Port Adelaide, 4-6. And at 3-quarter time, St Kilda are leading by 24 points. All right, let's go to the last quarter to see who wins. And St Kilda have kicked 6 goals, 2 to Port Adelaide, 5-6. And in the end, St Kilda have won this game by 26 points. Final scores, St Kilda 19-6, 120 to Port Adelaide, 13-16, 94. All right, let's go to the last game of the round. It's Collingwood versus North Melbourne. It's North Melbourne trying to keep top spot. Collingwood needs another win to try and force their way into the 8. All right, Collingwood in the first quarter have kicked 6 goals, 6 to North Melbourne, 4-5. All right, let's go to the second quarter. And Collingwood have kicked 1 goal, 4 to North Melbourne, 4 goals, 2. And at halftime, North Melbourne are leading by 3 points. All right, let's go to the third quarter. The third quarter's done. Collingwood have kicked 6 goals, 2 to North Melbourne, 3 goals, 3. And at 3-quarter time, Collingwood are leading by 14 points. Let's go to the last quarter. And the last quarter, Collingwood's kicked 6 goals, 6 to North Melbourne, 6 goals, 3. And Collingwood, in the end, have won by 17 points. Collingwood, final score, 19-18, 132 to North Melbourne, 17-13, 115. All right. Okay. Now, the ladder, as it stands, we've got St Kilda on top with a better percentage than North Melbourne. North Melbourne second, Sydney third, Port Adelaide fourth. And then we've got the Adelaide Crows, West Coast Eagles, Brisbane and Hawthorn rounding out the 8. And then on the bottom, we've got Essendon on the bottom with Gold Coast on the same points. Collingwood with that win moves a game clear from the bottom spot. Well, that concludes round 12 of AFT Dice Season 3. It's getting exciting. We've only got 5 rounds to go before the finals. We'll see you next time on AFT Dice Season 3.